Hi everybody, this is Noelle from Petitti Garden Centers, and we're here at Oakwood Village, and it is prime hydrangea time. As you can tell, the hydrangeas are in full flower, and we're going to talk about how to change the color of your hydrangea today. So, taking your blues to pink or pink to blue, you really can't change white hydrangeas, just so you know. Some of the panicle hydrangeas that start out white or light green may blush or redden or deepen in their color towards fall, but that's pretty natural for them, so you don't have to worry about that. It's really the few families that we can change the colors on are going to be Hydrangea Macrophylla, which is your big leaf hydrangea, or Hydrangea Serrata, which is a mountain hydrangea, which I've talked about several times before. So those are really the two families that you can change or manipulate the color through changing your soil pH. Now, soil pH has to do with the acidity or basicity of your soil. Sometimes we call making the soil more sour is making it more acid or acidic, or sweetening the soil, which means making it more basic, okay? So there's a couple things that you can do. Just be aware that this is not a fast process. So if you've always had pink hydrangeas and you've been wanting to change them to blue, it's not an instant process. It is something that could take several months to do. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. First thing that we'd like to recommend usually is taking a pH of your soil. So there's over-the-counter soil pH tests that are available, and seeing where your soil level of pH is. 7.0 is right neutral, okay? Typically, when you want your hydrangeas to be really, really deep blue, we're talking like 4.5 acidity. So that's a pretty low pH in the soil. If you want them to be more pink, you'll start to see the pinks right around like the 6.0, 6.5, and of course 7 neutral pHs. So just be aware of that as well. With all of these that you see, I have a lot of mophead hydrangeas or Hydrangea Macrophylla right through here, or phylla, however you want to say it. I also have some lace cap hydrangeas too. So just know that your lace cap hydrangeas also are typically in the Macrophylla family or in the Serrata family. Starting out, let's talk about if you want to turn your hydrangea blue or that bluer color. You're going to need to lower the soil pH, as I mentioned before. 4.5, 4.5 pH is pretty darn acidic, and that will make your hydrangeas turn a nice deeper blue. So some of these deeper colors you can get there. You have to start applying a soil acidifier, okay? So there's two different types that you can use. It's really your preference on how you want to use these, and I'm going to introduce both of them to you. So the first one, and this is kind of the standard, the classic, this is aluminum sulfate, okay? You always follow the package labeling and directions on the package. And this aluminum sulfate, you would apply 2 measuring cups in the spring around your hydrangea and water it in very well. There really isn't a reapplication after that point. So the aluminum sulfate, you can apply 2 cups. Typically, you'd want to, again, measure your soil pH first. And then when you find out, oh, it's not as acidic as I'd like it, then you can go ahead and use the aluminum sulfate on your hydrangeas, okay? So 2 cups in the spring is best for this one. Now, Espoma has a soil acidifier. Just so you know, there's no aluminum in this soil acidifier. It is all sulfur, so it will again reduce the pH of your soil. And this one you can apply similarly. So it's really 1 1/4 cups per new plant. So if you were just planting your hydrangeas and you wanted to make sure they were going to stay blue, you could go ahead and put 1 1/4 cups around this new plant, or you would do 2 1/2 cups around an established hydrangea, okay? This one you can apply every 60 days. So it is labeled through the growing season to apply once every 60 days to achieve the soil pH and of course the color you want on your plants. So keep that in mind. The next thing that you want to do is make sure that you're maintaining your fertilizer, okay? So with turning a hydrangea more blue, you want to make sure that you use an acidic fertilizer, and we often recommend Hollytone to feed the plants, but also keep the soil on more of an acidic pH or acidify the soil. So Hollytone, you are going to apply this once in spring and one time midsummer, and you typically apply 1 cup of Hollytone per foot of branch out to the drip line, okay? So let's say that your hydrangea is 3 feet wide out to the edges of the branches, then you would apply 3 cups once in the spring and again once in midsummer, if that makes sense to you all. So really keeping or wanting to maintain the blue color, you're going to want to apply a soil acidifier or aluminum sulfate and Hollytone. Okay, so that's the first thing if you're turning your hydrangea blue. From pink to blue or maybe lavender to blue, that's what you're going to focus on. You're going to focus on trying to lower the pH, maintain the fertilization, go from there. Okay, now if you have blue hydrangeas and you have obviously a little bit more acidic soil pH, then you want to raise that pH up, okay? So now what you're going to do is you are going to, again, feed your hydrangea. So you're going to use a multi-purpose fertilizer like Plant Tone because it is not acidic. So you're going to use the Plant Tone, apply that twice per growing season, once in the spring, once midsummer. Again, 1 cup per branch out to the drip line, okay? So keep in mind, and it's on the package directions so you can follow it there, okay? Then what we'll apply to soil to make sure that we're raising the pH is garden lime, okay? So garden lime is going to sweeten your soil, okay? And what this does is lime is pretty powerful out there in the garden. So package directions on this is you are applying either 2 to 4 tablespoons of garden lime per plant, or you're applying about 3 pounds, which is about half this bag. You're applying 3 pounds per 100 square foot in the garden that you want to sweeten the soil or bring up the pH, okay? So do be aware that, you know, and again, lime does not react quickly. None of these additives react quickly. So again, it might take some time to kind of raise that pH and get your hydrangeas to more of a pink color for you, okay? I did want to mention also that with hydrangeas, typically, if they have a dark color, like this is Summer Crush, okay? If they have a dark kind of raspberry pink color, then their pink might fade in color like this blossom, but it will never be a soft pastel pink. It's always going to be kind of that raspberry color, okay? If you're trying to change it to blue, the blue is going to be a little bit deeper and a little bit more intense as well. It won't be a soft baby blue like this original Endless Summer, okay? So keep that in mind when you're looking at your hydrangeas and you're selecting and you want to change colors. Pastel colors will always stay kind of pastel. The deeper, more vivid colors will change to a deeper color. A really good example is Rave. So this hydrangea here, you will see everywhere from a deep blue to a kind of a purpley violet to a light lavender as it changes to pink as you increase that soil pH. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to change your plant colors. And if you think, I'm just gonna add more acid and make it more blue and more blue, it might never really have that potential to do that just because it is a softer pastel color in the first place, okay? So keep that in mind, folks. Just remember, if you want your Hydrangea, Macrophylla, or Serrata to be more blue, you have to apply an acidifier, so aluminum sulfate or soil acidifier, feed them with Hollytone, and then if you want them to turn more pink, make sure you're applying garden lime and you're applying just a neutral plant fertilizer, so we're gonna use plant tone in this particular instance. Okay, folks, if you have any other questions about it, you can always contact us at PetittiGardenCenter.com. Enjoy.